Liberal city mayors getting a tiny taste of Biden's border crisis are now crying for help. New video shows the first bus of migrants arriving in New York City from Texas, courtesy of Governor Greg Abbott, who calls it the, quote, ideal destination. New York City Mayor Eric Adams declaring an emergency in response to 4,000 asylum seekers coming to the Big Apple over the past 3 months, and claims his city is being overwhelmed. But according to Abbott, that is not even close to what Texas is dealing with.
Public officials across the country, they do need to realize the magnitude of the chaos created by Biden's open border policies. They're up in arms about a few thousand people coming into their communities over the past few months. Listen, in any one sector in the state of Texas, we have more than 5,000 people come across that sector every single day. And so, listen, we're full in the state of Texas. Our communities are overrun. And I started busing people to Washington, D.C. when local officials could not handle the number of people that had come across our border.
Mayor Adams slamming Texas after declining multiple invitations to come witness the crisis firsthand.
Things as a political play, it's just, he finally admitted what we were saying. And we're going to continue to be open arms. This is who we are as a city, and we just need help from the federal government. We're having a great conversation this afternoon with the federal government to figure out how we can get this right. But it is despicable what we're witnessing in Texas.
And if you're wondering why we have a record surge at the border, listen to who the migrants are thanking in exclusive footage airing tonight on Jesse Watters Primetime.
What is your message to Joe Biden?
We are completely grateful for the opportunity that he has given us. Thanks for the support to all the Venezuelans coming here.
All right, so I saw you, Lawrence, laughing as I was laughing. You know, you've got Mayor Adams. Today, I think there were 50 who came in on a bus, and they're having a conniption. They're having a conniption, and they're saying it's a political ploy by Governor Greg Abbott. The bottom line is that now they're seeing what's happening in border towns for the first time, and they don't like it.
Well, it's the reality of what's been happening in Texas for a very long time. And by the way, that there are more people that come across the border in Texas in a day than what were dropped off in New York today. But how do we get to this point? Mayor Adams accused Greg Abbott of doing this before he was even doing it. You remember, Judge, when those same migrants, when we followed their plane, when it landed in New York City, and we followed it all the way in Jersey, and they called the police on our camera crew because they didn't want us to see in Westchester, okay? Right. So when they were coming to New York, those migrants, you know, Adams gave this press conference and said, these people are coming from Texas. They weren't coming from Texas. The Biden administration were busing people and flying them in, and they were dropping them off in local communities. And so he was going after Abbott about this. And so Abbott was like, okay, you want them? You want them from Texas? You want to make us the enemy? And he shipped them there. But I think right now what it's doing right now is highlighting the hypocrisy from the left. They were all about compassion and giving them handouts and welcoming them in the country until they were on their lawns. It was fine when it was conservative areas where all the migrants are going. And now it's affecting them. They don't care about it. They're proposing $80 billion right now for 87,000 new IRS agents. How about you send that money to the border for those men and women that are trying to keep us safe on a day-to-day basis?
You know, Sandra, New York City is a sanctuary city. Shouldn't Mayor Adams just take them? If you're a sanctuary city, why don't you just bear the burden that sanctuary cities bear?
And the irony of that is he told Greg Abbott, the solution be you should just provide housing for these migrants.
Yeah.
It was almost hard to believe that was the solution that he offered. I have to think, watching this, you think, okay, if the idea is that this is a political ploy or a photo op, as some of these Democrats have made it out to be, you think that Eric Adams would just say, you know, try to take care of it, take them in, deal with it the best that they possibly can with the resources at hand, and say, what are you guys complaining about down in Texas? You have to think that it's gotten so bad that he can't even just take care of it to say, hey, you guys aren't doing it right. We've been able to manage it here. These are the numbers, though. Christopher Wray in that hearing yesterday talking about the significant security issue of these border crossings.
Yeah, let's take a listen.
And
let's
being
take a listen to
exploited by
that
terrorists.
sound.
when Director Mayorkas was asked about the border, he made the, frankly, from my standpoint, implausible statement that the border was secure. From your vantage point and your opinion, is the border secure?
Well, look, I think the border presents significant security issues. There's a wide array of criminal threats that we encounter down at the border. To me, it represents a significant security issue and represents a wide array of criminal threats that flow out of it.
Go ahead, Sandra.
I mean, you're talking about 50 people whose names appeared on the federal terrorism watch list between November and May that were identified in those busts that are now expected to soar beyond the record 1.7 million encounters last year, right now at 1.6, on pace to pass that. So while this might be a photo op, fine, it's not reality. That's the reality of the situation out at the border.
You know, the amazing part of it, Jessica, is that when Mayor Adams asked the federal government for help, federal government says, no, you're going to have to deal with it. And then I think it was Bowser who asked for some National Guard to come in, and they said no. Yeah. Why all of a sudden are they now experiencing, now that they know what it's like, and they're not getting any response? Why are they going after the Republican governors as opposed to the president who's letting them in and making us all suffer? Oh, good idea. Go after your own party when there are Republicans available. Everyone's going to go after the other guy. No, it's the president who controls the border. He's a Democrat, and it's easier to go after. No, it's not about party. I'm talking about protecting the border. Yes, holistically, of course, the border is a bipartisan issue. I'm saying that people politic, no matter what. It is an ugly facet of life here, and we've all witnessed it. You've seen people. But you wouldn't say that makes it right, would you? No, and I didn't. I just explained why he's going after Governor Abbott instead of calling out Joe Biden. You're saying they're being political. They're not working for the American people, then. Okay, so. There are politics going on. We've now acknowledged that. We've acknowledged that I don't think it's a good thing what's going on. We also should acknowledge what Mayor Adams said in that video, which is, we are a welcoming city. I just need some help. And the Biden administration should be providing it. Our shelter system got overrun by the first batch. It was 4,000 migrants came here. We don't have enough beds for them. We don't have enough space for them. We are a sanctuary city, and it would behoove the Biden administration to live up to their talk about this and give the money to D.C. and give it to New York. If you think that we have enough space for them, we have the jobs for them, and make sure that they can do that. And then don't forget the schools. Sure, we lost millions of public school students. If we give it to Texas, should we give the money to Texas? Every state that has a problem should get more federal funding. If we don't have the money, should we do have the money?
No, the money needs to go to the border. We don't need American taxpayer dollars that's been taken by the federal government to go to these cities who have proclaimed themselves sanctuary cities so that their constituents and their residents don't feel the pain and don't vote them out of office for making it a sanctuary city to begin with. It's easy to be a sanctuary city when you're a city of 7 million people until, 1,000 people show up and now you're overran? That doesn't make any sense at all. Here's what's funny to me. Why is it that they think that Washington, D.C. can't handle this, but San Antonio can? Why is it they think that New York City can't handle this, but Houston should? This is a core issue in this country that says, I went to war and lost my legs for the citizens of this country, not Mexico or Guatemala or anywhere else. Doesn't mean I harbor any ill will towards them, but the citizens in this country come first. That's where the sacrifice was. That's where the money comes from. That's who we are. That's our identity as Americans. And if there are people from other countries that want to be a part of this, then our politicians need to be held accountable in creating a system that allows them to in a way that protects us first and offers them opportunity second. I come from a city of this. I've seen this. I've seen people T-bone my sister, jump out of the car and take off running. Next week they're at work with a different identity because they never had papers to begin with. Whether or not that makes them a good or a bad person, it makes our government bad for letting them do that. There is an intricate, decades-old system for fraudulent identities in this country. When you bring someone in and you say, come back in 2 years, you know what? They've had 3 identities in those 2 years. That's what is fraudulent. That's what defrauds us. It's not about empathy, as you can see with Eric Adams right now. It's not about empathy at all. It's about, oh, man, now it's my problem, and now I could be politically held accountable. We better do something about this. That's what's wrong. And the people who are hurt worse from this are those who do come here illegally and live in the shadows and never have a chance to be a part of what is the American dream, which they thought they were coming here for, because our government, both sides of the aisle, would rather keep this method because it benefits them in some way here or there rather than what benefits us
Jessica,
as Americans.
What should Joe Biden do? Quickly.
He should give out federal funds to places where these migrants are going. He should work on border security. Last week, they started closing up that big gap in Yuma.
That's one gap.
You know what the interesting thing is? The last time we had this conversation here, you said that Greg Abbott's stunt did not work. Is it working now?
I did think that
Is it working now?
the stunt we were talking about was when he was holding up the inspections, not when he was sending migrants.
When he sent the bus to D.C., you said it didn't work. Now it's become a national story.
Irrespective,
in all of the cities now.
I don't
think it's working?
Guys,
I think it makes him look childish and still treating migrants as if they're just toys that you throw on a bus and you ship off
You know
somewhere.
what? How about you guys close the border?
How
and if you
about
close
Joe
the border,
Biden?
then this wouldn't
Joe
be a problem.
Biden is treating them like toys. Joe Biden is the one who's treating them as though they need to be protected. They need health care, education, medication, and everything else while we pay through the nose for it. We can't afford it. New York City can't afford it. Texas towns can't afford it. Washington can't afford it. End it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.